I'm sorry, I'm being just a little bit nosy this morning. There's a woman going to donations and she's being escorted away from the property. It happens like that sometimes. So I just I miss y'all. I know I haven't been live. It gets difficult with this heat. Y'all know how it's gonna go. If this phone dies, it's because it's got too hot. I'm taking a quick jaunt to the Circle K because I just had to get away. It's a lot of people going through a lot of things. What up, Cola? How's your spirit, gorgeous? Thank you for joining. We are going to talk about cannabis, and I'm going to tell y'all how I'm doing first because I know I appreciate that it's a thing. I appreciate y'all more than you know. You give me hope sometimes when I don't know that I have it in me. And recently, that's been more difficult because, so here's the thing. I didn't take my bike out for starters because it's way too hot and I've already been in a fair bit of pain, so I'm trying not to increase it. Your spirit's good. I'm actually fantastic. I am learning to deal with chronic fatigue and bone pain with absolutely no medication. Every now and then I'll take some Tylenol or some ibuprofen. That's pretty much it. But real talk, y'all, it's difficult. So that's why I want to talk about the con and the cannabis conundrum. The idea that cannabis is absolutely legal in the state of Arizona, and a place that claims that it's here to help you won't allow you to have what you know works to keep you going. Positivity and God, for certain, will keep you in the right frame of mind. It'll keep you on time, yet it becomes a burden. Like having to remember to slow down because your body can't accomplish the things without cannabis that it could when having it. Hey, March Harris, how's your spirit? Oh, thank you. I really do miss my onesies, y'all. I miss my porch. I miss life before this thing. And I was just now listening to Goapele, that song, Closer. I know I'm closer to my dreams than I've ever been before. And so I hang on to that and I focus on what's coming without trying to focus on the end goal or take anything away from the Most High. And I recognize that not having what you need is more than just a little thing, like having someone take away your rights because they think they know what's right or better for you than you do. Even medical professionals would say to you today, oh no, I'm like, literally, you guys, I moved out here to Arizona from Durham, North Carolina, because my physician told me you would be better on medical marijuana. You would do better than being on high dose opioids. You have to understand, I was on morphine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, a list of things, patches and rubs and ointments and all of these things. And I never really felt much like Janine. I never really felt much like myself. And the journey with cannabis was difficult for me because I'm a full-blown conservative. And so I was pretty much like, yeah, nah, how am I going to know you as a person if the only time I'm around you is when you're high on cannabis? Right, Cola, if you've never experienced cannabis, either recreationally, especially from a medical standpoint, or the things that's going on with someone's body. For example, like I said, I have fibromyalgia. That is a complex pain condition. It goes from bone to skin. There are days when my hair hurts, when having on clothing is absolutely uncomfortable. Using cannabis took that away from me. It made it possible for me to breathe easier, to walk easier, to not feel confined or constricted by my clothing, and then to be in a place that would constrict everything about me because they think they know a thing, right? Times have changed. We understand that cannabis cures cancer. We understand that during the pandemic, uh, listen, Marchers, the sunlight and my smile, I appreciate you. It's a wonderful feeling. My nose is itching, which is confirmation of something. I don't know what, but anyway. Um, here's the irony, and I want to say abject, though it may be the wrong word. The irony of this thing is they're all about the Bible. They're all about the gospel. And the Bible tells you to heal from the things that the Lord provides to you. And the Lord provides cannabis. It grows wild. It goes freely. It grows easily in many climates, many conditions. A lot like human beings, right? We have an endocannabinoid system. We are meant to process this thing, not these tiny little pills that they are compressing and putting into us every day. They are stealing from the people their opportunity to be healthy without having to suppress who they are, right? Cannabis enhances who you are. It doesn't suppress it. Remember, I told you it's a performance enhancing drug. It enhances, or weed, or herb, or medicine. It enhances who you are. All of these other things, an antidepressive still suppresses whom you are as a human being. March Harris, I'm not going to go there with you today. And your nose, listen, stop it. You all will not behave because you only get me for a certain number of minutes on a certain number of days. We're working on it, though. Things are going to change. Things have already changed. I've met amazing people in this place who are willing to support my journey, who have already blessed me with their time and their resources, even when they're not inside of those gates. It's been a strange place to be because there's a lot of God speak and not a lot of God. And I recognize the God in me. They'll even tell you that they recognize the God in me, the Holy Spirit moving through me, and all of those things. You don't understand that came to be as a result of me understanding cannabis and using it to medicate and maintain my life. Am I a follower of Christ? This is what Spirit. Here's the thing. I suppose yes, in that I recognize the life that Christ lived. I recognize that in my own life, I am an outcast to many people. I am someone who's at the forefront of pushing a movement that others would rather push to the side. I understand that we are all human and we all go through a thing and we all have our own set of circumstances. I want to help people through that process. I want to do it in a way that makes common sense. Ironically, I'm looking at this thing. You said we're spiritually messy. Yes, you are. And that does not stop. And listen, Bon Eric is just waiting for a thought that he can latch on to. But look, this tree stump right here looks like a heart to me, right? Also kind of looks like the state of Texas, but we're going to let that go, right? But can you see the heart in there, that little shape right there? It's me. I see God everywhere. And I recognize God as a loving God, a caring being, a father figure who looks out to me, whom I can turn to for anything. I listen to the people inside of there, and they'll tell you that they don't feel God anywhere, not unless it's from themselves. And that it troubles me. It troubles me because I want to create a similar thing. Shout out to K Business Podcast. I'm not gonna blow you up and say that you are. I would say this, that you watch my stream at some point possibly, and recognize a need for a thing, for an understanding, and I appreciate that, Sister Cola. I appreciate you. There are some in this space though who have chosen to copy me, to steal from me. On my community tab, I put stealing healthy healing, and that's mostly for the pharmaceutical companies, for the people who would rather keep cannabis and cannabis medical research, cannabis medical understanding to a minimum for as long as possible, so that they can turn it into something they can market for money, to turn it into something that you've got to go directly to them in order to be able to gain access and understanding from. Yet we are out here and we know for decades upon decades, people have been using cannabis to heal themselves and fighting in a number of ways in order to make that a thing. But not until they can get you a college degree or some type of certificate are they willing to allow cannabis to be a reality in healing people's lives. I also recognize, though, you cannot steal from me what God has put into me and me alone. You can copy me. You can never be me. At this point, we're at copies of copies, facsimiles of human beings who care. Mark says that he is an omnipresent, praise God. He is. And I see God in things and places that others may not. You know, right, March, like cannabis oil. I see that God has given us this opportunity to build for ourselves a community, a conglomerate, an understanding of healing that stands the test of time. It already has. Our ancestors put in the work well before we came along. It's our job to pick up the mantle and move it forward. I had to be here to recognize a thing. One of the things that I'm coming to recognize is that too many organizations are simply that, organizations. Organizing ways to make money off the backs of other people's needs and strife. The more I think about what it is the more I want to do, the more I want to lead by example, to lead from the back or the side. I don't want middle management or people who claim to be a thing but have never experienced a thing saying that they're here for the human collective. I'm kind of at the point where if you can't prove to me that you smoke and you recognize the healthy benefits of cannabis, I don't want you a part of my organization. And now you might say that that's discrimination, and yet this nation was built on discrimination. Does that mean that we should follow suit, continue to do what they do? No, not exactly. Yet there's a point where you have to be exclusive. March, that's the thing about it though. Well, how can you be in it for the profit when you call it a nonprofit? Then there's that whole prophets and prophecies. You see, one of the things about this place is they deny other people's religion on a regular basis. They deny other people's culture. Like, black culture comes with a fair bit of superstitions. If my right hand's itching, I'm gonna get some money. If I put my purse down on the ground, I ain't gonna get none at all. If you sweep my feet, I won't get married. I have to make sure that a man walks through my door on New Year's Day. These are things that are a part of our culture, of our heritage, of our history. And they want to take that away. They want to demean it. They want to deny it. They want us to defy what has been rightfully ours for centuries. That includes cannabis. See, the thing about cannabis is because it works with your body, it heals those little holes in your mental. Not the ones you place upon yourself, right? But literally, it heals those little holes from eating the wrong foods, from being in the wrong spaces, from ingesting this congested air, and being around non-indigenous populations. That all comes with a thing. What up, Sister Enage? How's your spirit, girl? I know I kind of knew that a checkup was coming, and I appreciate you for it. Yet, I was like, let me get on it. Let me get out here, even in this heat, and go ahead and do this thing. It is already approximately 98 degrees or so, and it is 10:22 in the morning. So in a couple of hours or less, it'll be 100. And that's its own dang thing. That's why you guys haven't seen me out doing live streams. And certainly when I do the ones about cannabis, I make sure to step off property because there's just no need to give them a reason. And unfortunately, they're looking for any reason to get people out as opposed to help people succeed. Like, truly, there's an opportunity in there to help people succeed in their journey, to give them tools to advocate for themselves while advocating alongside them. I told you guys that I applied for a position, and I claimed it because I've seen it from the bottom, and I know what it is to be in a nonprofit and what's expected of me. Yet I also looked at another position today at the ACLU, which is absolutely something that I'm capable of doing because my whole goal has been to mobilize the marginalized. These people are marginalized, even I, at this point. They want you because you're a minority, in as many ways as possible, the more money they receive for you being there. Yet they tell you that you're there because of God's good grace. So how dare you complain? How dare you request change? That Jesus was all about change. He was all about seeing people in their circumstance and doing for them because at any moment it could have been him. And indeed, eventually it was. He was martyred, just like Martin and Malcolm and many others. There are ways that people want to martyr me. Now, my siblings, the people in this community, they see something in me and they like that. They want me to stay around for that. Right, Jesus was a radical. I am definitely a radical, a rebellious angel, perhaps. I want to see people succeed, God's children. I mean, truly. Not the ones who adhere to this weird, strict code that doesn't allow you to be whom you are and tell your truth and walk your walk and talk your talk. I want to see regular people go out into the world and help other regular people because they've been there. They've lived it already. They have experienced more in this life than anyone who claims to be a follower of Christ. You know, people believe because they have the money or the means, so to speak, they are the ones entitled to tell you what God can do. Only God can tell you what he can do. and he can show you better than he'll ever tell you. Understand? It's been strange for me to realize that God walks this walk with me, and He's taking me on this detour. But let me get back to the understanding or explaining of why cannabis. I have what's known as fibromyalgia. I have complex PTSD and I have chronic fatigue syndrome. The excessive heat that we're experiencing now, because right here in this spot, we have not had rain in almost 60 days, if not longer. Right, March, there's a reason why Jesus was amongst the downtrodden. It's because, one, they needed him, yet two, he recognized that through healing them, he would do more to heal the world than dealing with those who had money, means, and might. So living with fibromyalgia and bone pain, when the weather changes, things either get good or bad for me. So when we don't have all these clouds and humidity in the sky, I feel amazing. I can go for days and days. I might need a nap yet. I don't need a break, and I really don't need a day off. Yet, times like this, when the rain is supposed to be here, supposedly this evening, it gets difficult for me. It's the reason why I wanted to go to work for self instead of going to work for someone else, yet going to work for the Most High, that's different. I recognize through him I can change things. I'm not saying that I'll ever get this place to recognize the importance of cannabis in people's lives. That it's not just what's that, wacky tobacco. It's not just a fun time. It's a healing thing. It heals your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, your physical. The other day, I felt so much pain. I hadn't felt it in so long. I had forgotten what it was like. It took everything out of me. I had to have someone else carry my things. I was afraid someone was going to have to carry me, or that I'd end up in the hospital. And when I say afraid, I don't mean fearful. I mean, it had that impending feeling. I fear nothing, knowing the Most High, which is why I knew I could walk away from cannabis for however long was necessary in order to find housing, an opportunity to clear my name, to clear my space, and be in my own place without barriers or boundaries provided by other people. I've had to learn how to set my boundaries better than I ever had before. I thought that I had done an excellent job of that, creating a bubble for my sons and I, and then coming here and recognizing that there are many who claim faith in the Most High, and yet they don't have good intentions. March Harris, if you don't behave, talking about the second half hours and 9 minutes. Let me get through this quick then so y'all can handle y'all's goofy, messy business. March Harris asked Von Eric, what's your favorite story in the Bible? You know something? This is one of those strange things. I haven't truly sat down and read the Bible since I was 18 years old. I read it alongside the Quran. I made notes in the sides and all kinds of things in order to go on this journey of understanding with God. After I was 13, I stepped away for a while. I was like I said, I've told you this before, my best friend, her name was Davine. She got pregnant by a young boy that we were both had, attentions towards. And they made her stand up in front of the church and tell everybody. And I just couldn't understand how God would let that happen to a child. Then I realized, though, that wasn't God's doing. That was man. God uses all of us to achieve things, good, bad, whatever. We're vessels. It's up to us to decide to stay positive, to stay in the upright, to do the thing that's most right. And there was just nothing right in that to me. She was a child who got lost in the moment, and her family chose to stigmatize her for it. And that's one of the things that I recognize about this space, cannabis. We put a stigma on everything that I suppose we can't fathom. We put a stigma on things that remain unseen in a way. Like Cola said, if you've never experienced the need for medical cannabis, you would certainly stigmatize it as folks just trying to get high. In the same way that you stigmatize those who use opioid therapy, you put them in the same boat as opioid addicts. You're doing a disservice to the people. You're doing a disservice to the Most High. I do believe that God crafted man. Yet I do not believe that he crafts everything that man crafts, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not sure that God condoned, not sure, I know he didn't condone the overprescribing of opioids, yet I do recognize the blessing that was in it for Black folks. There was a stigma already placed upon us as being a certain type of folks, as being slovenly, looking for a reason not to do a thing. So when it came to, and being able to withstand high amounts of pain, this is true. Having fibromyalgia, my pain threshold is excessively high. I can tolerate a fair amount of pain before my body gives out, yet, or there's a breaking point for everybody. Right, March, the entire plan is beneficial. And we spend so much time fighting against it that we're unwilling to recognize the benefits. In that way, though, we do the same thing with God. We fight against having an understanding of him, giving our lives over to him, allowing him to determine our movements. And when I say that I let God tell me how to move, I mean down to the clothes that I wear each day. It's just as simple as that. It's a prayer. It's the question, Lord, it's hot out there. What do I need to put on today? So I've got on a shorter sleeve shirt that they'll allow, a sweater for when I'm inside, a pair of jeans, and I can walk to the Circle K. So don't take that damn bike today. You're going to be feeling some type of way. And it's true. I can already feel the pain in my left leg, the bone ache, and what it's causing, That later on, it'll take its toll on me, and I may end up having to walk more slowly, or I'm going to have to rest today. It's seeing and understanding those things. And that was the beauty of having the time to do my own medical research on me when it comes to cannabis, to marijuana, to being able to recognize using this strain will allow me to go for this walk today. And when I get home, I'll need to use something different so that I can rest, relax, recover from life. It's that part. Like, this particular place is all about recovery, but they refuse to recognize that it can help people recover from addiction. It can help people recover from trauma. It can aid in recovering from self-doubt. The lack of awareness is concerning. Not just when it comes to medical marijuana, but the lack of awareness of the people, how they got into these situations in the first place, and how you're really doing more to re-traumatize or re-victimize or re-stigmatize those who are trying to find a way out. You know, that whole "there but for the grace of God, go I." I suppose, I don't know, I've never really been addicted to a thing. I don't even like smoking. It's something that I do because it does relieve a bit of the tension. And it helps me not to focus on what's happening to me. March Harris, do not encourage Sister Inez to do the wrong thing. At least let me go inside and get my popsicle and my coffee first. Maybe it's bite to eat. You all are super messy. Ironically, since we were talking about messy things and messing beings, let's talk about how there are a lot of people in that place who are trauma bonding. It's almost as if they go in looking for love, and more than, I should say, less than God's love. They go looking for the love of other human beings. They want to be accepted. I mean, that's not to say that I want to be rejected or anything. It's just, I do not have any desire to go the common way just because it's the common way. I don't have the need to be accepted by people who on the streets wouldn't otherwise accept me. It has been an opportunity, though, to meet those I wouldn't have otherwise met and join them in their journey, so to speak. It's strange. Every day. Ooh, y'all know we're gonna get a popsicle, right? Trauma bonding is huge in general. One of the people that I speak to frequently helped me come to the understanding that the trauma bonding actually started when these folks were on the street, and then they found out about this place, and then they invite their peers and their peers into the space, and thus the trauma bonding follows along. I recognize that. It's even more disappointing that the organization doesn't. They put people in these situations where they're really not ready to fight for themselves. They tell them that there's someone who is going to fight for them, an advocate, and yet the advocate is pretty much there to advocate for you following their rules, even when their rules are detrimental to you. You all are messy with your H's. I really do appreciate y'all. Hold on, I gotta go grab my turkey sticks. I'm telling y'all, if you have never tried these things, these little thingies, this is the snack for today, okay? Turkey sticks, popsicle, coffee. The snack of champions right here. So, hold on. Let's get this paid for. Good morning.
Oh, I made a new one? I don't even know.
That thing's fantastic.
Yeah, they have the cups of it, but I didn't really like their mango in the cup. Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't taste right. They made it.
Hold on, y'all.
What's up, TJ? When'd you sneak in? Yeah. That was a good feeling.
Thank you, baby.
Have a good day.
You too. All right. So, be proud of me. I did not buy a donut. I was gonna, but I'm trying to do the right thing. Limit my dairy intake because I do recognize that it is causing a mucus buildup. I had to fight yesterday so I wouldn't have to eat no doggone cheese. I'm trying, y'all. It's hard out here for a girl to stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult. They say that they want to work with you. They'll advocate for you, and yet when you advocate for your basic needs, like I can't eat cheese, it's not gonna just make me itchy. It's a detriment to me. It causes me to be extra fatigued. It causes hold on. See, this is my problem. I be strong one day and then other days I'm not. That's a part of the fibromyalgia and the chronic fatigue. Cannabis helps with that because I can smoke a little and not feel the fatigue because my body has what it needs. Fortunately, everything don't work that way. And Mark, as far as you said about the medical research, that's the thing. That's the con. It's almost impossible to do medical research as long as it is federally prohibited. Which is why, in my first 100 days in office as President of the United States, I will legalize cannabis. Shout out to Ron DeSantis. Let's debate about it, bruh. Let's have a debate, though, on the facts, the numbers, not the stigma, not your interpretation of a thing which you know nothing about. You got to sit in your office and wait for a homie to tell you some things. You know, where, you know, Sister Cola, that's one of those things. Cannabis makes you cough. It makes you hack up all the icky stuff. It's one of the things that we need. To get rid of something, you must get it out of you. Cough it up and spit it out. Do it regularly, and it's no longer a part of you. All these other things are immunosuppressive, so they compromise you. Even though they say it's somehow helping you get through. I really need my glasses, man. I ordered some glasses. They're supposed to be coming today or in a couple of days. I'm so excited because I really can't see. I really cannot. I love y'all. It is not. It is a Mexican popsicle, a mango nata. It is kind of like a sherbet, though. There's no dairy in it. Though they do have some that have dairy. This one just doesn't. It's mainly fruit juice, some sugar. This one's got some chiles in it, and that's great. Give you a little bit of spice, a little pick-me-up early in the morning. It's better for me than this coffee that's in my bag right here, but I'm telling you, A little coffee will do you nice in the morning time. Also, it helps things more than the spirit move. And sometimes you need that in your life too. Yeah. I said coming here and going through this was going to be a spiritual detour. Because there are a lot of people implying that my spiritual gifts were based on cannabis. My ability to see and foretell things was somehow related to my use of marijuana. So coming here and being able to continue to tell people or give messages from the Most High, spiritual downloads or whatever you want to call it, was proof in the pudding for those who didn't want to believe, right? I admit it does make it easier. Yet, the gifts were mine in the first place. Oh, Lola, you know what gets on my nerves? She says what gets on her nerves is people who say the what I think. What gets on my nerves is the feels. I am so over feels, bruh. The emotional people. I told you guys about a week and a half ago, I actually got upset with myself because I wasn't emotional about a situation that others may be emotional about. It dawned on me that's healthy healing. I've learned to process what's happening around me, or even technically to me, in that moment. Not to carry it forward in life and get angry, throw a temper tantrum that lasts for days, or somehow affects other people. That's the beauty of the Most High. You are absolutely right about that part, Sister Cola. If you do not have spiritual gifts, you do not understand it. And so you want to chalk it up to anything from crazy to cannabis to, hell, just making shit up. And I've seen some people who have done that. March Harris, I love your petty. My spiritual team is that petty though. Did y'all see that? Did I post that one where the baby was tripping down the slide? That's my spiritual team. My spiritual team will fuck you up and then dance alongside of you while you trying to get your life right. That part. Oh, Sister Cola, you've been watching that. What's his name? What's that boy name? I forgot his name. Oh, O'Shea. Talking about closed-minded individuals that are all-time high. Indeed. Indeed. People are closed-minded to the idea of God even. So then they hang on to the term spiritual without knowing what it means. To be spiritual means you recognize you ain't alone in this thing. You aren't the only one out here. We're not the only ones out here. The idea that we think we are the smartest beings in existence is baffling to me because we're still trying to figure out how the pyramids were built. Okay? We don't have the ability to process multiple languages because it was stolen from us. And we want to claim to be the next great thing. And I find that strange. Y'all know me. I love movie representation. So first of all, I introduced the gentleman to Let's Do It Again with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby. Man, that made me so happy to be black. I looked at it and I was like, look at all that natural black beauty. Natural, like cannabis. Something we need to get back to. That which is naturally healing. That which is naturally us, of ourselves. Man, March, you talking about spirit is always present. I had to tell spirit not to go to the bathroom with me. Spirit be trying to tell me all kinds of things at the wrong time. I'm like, Spirit, could you let me get off the toilet, please? But you know, you got to deal with spirit to know what I'm saying. My biggest battle at this point has been how to share the word and the spirit without giving access to my own energy. There's this gentleman inside of the facility. He likes to try to pray with people. But he does this thing, and it's actually spiritually binding. He tried it twice with me. And I'm pretty sure because he tried it twice, the Lord knocked him out of his bed twice. Lord don't play about me. My spiritual team don't play either. So I had to undo this binding. He came to me again like, I want to get that demon off of you. Nah, man, you're trying to put that demon on me. Some elder folks today were telling me, you can't let everybody pray for you. I told y'all that. There are those who will pray over you. They'll be claiming to pray for you, and they'll pray for your downfall. They will speak of negative things, thus, in their own way, praying against you and what it is that you need. Yeah, March Harris, spirit does not understand personal space. Spirit don't understand time, and spirit does not understand heart. Spirit be like, no, go on out there, it's a good time. No, it's not, spirit. Chill out. I have, however, figured out how to talk to spirit. Listen, spirit, I'm gonna need some space today. Let me just lay here. I'll be quiet. You'll be quiet. We'll be all right. I won't go into the world today. And then that way you ain't got to worry about fighting too many demons. Only the ones that come towards my space. I had to recognize I can't advise everybody. I can't. Offer my wisdom and understanding to everyone because they're truly not prepared for it. They have yet to see this life as a blessing in the form that it's in today. They say, well, God promised me this, this, and this. Have you done what you need to fulfill your part of the bargain, though? No, March, I haven't watched The Long Shift. So that reminds me. I was watching Babylon AD. That's the other movie I was going to talk about. And really, in some ways, it disappointed me because they say the children, not the mother, some not their father figure steps in. Okay, great for the stepfather thing. However, there's no clear understanding of the miracles or blessings in that movie. It's like it was just made to be made. I, though, see some things in it that are coming. The gift of sight is a miracle. Reading people is not. You can see enough of someone's surroundings to get an understanding of whom they are and regurgitate that to them, and they will feel as though you've given them a reading. Now, you just picked up on the clutter around them, so to speak. To read someone's energy, though, is to recognize the thing that they are going through and to give them a message from the Most High that will get that thing off of them, so to speak. I want to talk about one more thing real quick, though, before we get back over here and I have to go inside. Because, woo, baby, it's getting hot and the stone's burning up. This is supposed to be a place that is about recovery from addiction. They don't have no problem with you bringing in all the cigarettes that you can muster. You know, you can bring in a carton at a time when nicotine is one of the most addicting things out there. They won't let you have but one cup of coffee in the morning, but you can have 15 cigarettes a day if you want to, and that's okay. Cola, enjoy your afternoon, child. Get you some rest in, do a little bit of relaxing for the kid, because I don't know. There's still a bit of mess afoot. It might just be March and Enage and Von Erich upset because they couldn't find a way to get in there messy today. I tried to keep the message as close to the point as possible, yet, you know, it could be difficult. I'll give y'all this one opportunity, though. The other folks that I was talking to, they were discussing, as I said, trying to find love in a place like this. I don't think that before I got here, there was any love here. Love goes where I go, just as God does. Because, like I said, my Father is a being of love. Cannabis enhances love. Cannabis will, what I tell y'all before, them cushion, them OG strains, will make you push up on your loved one and do some things. So there's that part. But they were saying, you know, they called it bums in love. I wonder, though, if God put us all in this place, was it not for a reason? Was it not to find Him and the love in Him? And once you find the love in Him, are you not supposed to find and pour love into other people? Like, isn't that a part of being a saint? Isn't that why they exist in certain religious communities? I don't claim to be a saint. I'm definitely a sinner. I have done a lot of things that I don't think my Father would be too proud of. In my past, that is. I have certainly been redeemed of all things. Not just because I died, but because I recognize the God in me and what He sent me to do. See, a lot of the things that we adhere to are man-made. I know y'all feel some type of way when I say these things, yet marriage, in the way that we treat it, that's a man-made thing. The fact that I can't get away from a man who has been physically, emotionally, and financially abusive, well, that's humans. That's not the Father. He wouldn't hold me accountable to that on the judgment day, right? We are to obey his law. And that's not how it goes. Let me see what y'all got going on before I get up to this gate. What's up, Greg? So, I say all that to say,